Okay, we need to first establish a quorum before we can get started. Yes, please stay. Are we at 54? We need 60 to All right, way to work together. Thank you. All right, I would like to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with an opening prayer.
Every week when we come to a gospel reading, it's rightly so. Got thinking about all of us then gathered, attend. Able us, and I wonder how it's been so different. A year ago, we were 2 years ago, we thought it necessary. In some ways, as awful and hard as this, today it seems like Lord be with you. Gathered in your
All right, so what you have before you are the constitutional changes that we are proposing. This was sent out several months ago. It's been in the first word and in the email, and I'm going to have Roger kind of briefly talk through it, as he was the one that has put a lot of work into these changes over the past year.
The first item for consideration, the amendment to the bylaws, is simple. Just a one-word change, changing our meeting from January to February. The reason for that is some of our financial statements don't get issued until about the 21st of January. That always impedes us finishing the document, even the fourth Sunday. So that's the simple change. The other change is the one that came up because of the pandemic. Most of the wording in the core provisions that are covered comes from the Northern Illinois Synod and the LCA in terms of operating an electronic meeting, which I think when we've discussed it, council, we prefer to meet in person. Pandemic offered up last year to do that except out in the parking lot in 32-degree weather. And we'd like to avoid that again. So the only wording that didn't come from Synod was the wording about voting. Verify voting either by collecting ballots, some means of electronic verification permitted by the state of Illinois, Robert's Rule of Order. So we're still limited in the provisions. Now we can vote on these changes. I would suggest one vote on bylaws, second vote on the constitutional change. But if people have questions, you know, we can also break them down further. So I guess we're ready for questions. Nina, Pastor? Dennis? The exception? No. And it's pretty difficult to state what circumstances occur in, except you'll have to have confidence in council members, and when we declare the meeting, yes, lose the ability, yeah. I agree, and you know, that's probably the greatest concern that all of you are going to share, but I can equally tell you that I think all of us agree that we prefer meeting in person and do it if we're prevented from doing that by medical advice or health advice. Well, you know, if we change it here, also, so it requires a majority vote here. Will go into effect though. Approval.
Goes back to
Yeah, and the, you know, this one, you know, the wording for holding electronic meetings is offered by modification to the, they didn't include any clarification work, urgency, whatever.
To address that point as well, as a council, that would be something that we would vote on together. And just our experience through COVID, none of us preferred to meet on Zoom. For that, it was very difficult. We lost just a lot of that natural communication that we have at meetings. So just from my own experience, but also any of us on council, I don't think any of us would ever prefer, especially for anything that needs to be voted on. Question?
Remember, isn't it? Brent?
Most of the time, it's kind of not the important. Really qual-
Well, we
it
did
seemed
have
like
some
kinda
experience.
nebulous when you said
Okay,
that.
Nancy's question was, how do we validate people's electronic vote? Did a dry run of this back at the Northern Illinois Synod conference that occurred back in June. In that case, you had to put in credentials, verify that you were eligible to cast a vote circumstance. That would be the type of protocol we would have to follow.
Other questions regarding guys, first we would be looking for a motion to approve that this congregation may hold meetings by remote communication, including electronically and by telephone conference, as long as there is an opportunity for simultaneously oral communication. To the extent permitted by state law, notice of all meetings may be provided electronically. Get a second? Deb? All right. And this will be by voice vote. So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. All right, motion carries. Need a motion to approve the bylaw change. For an annual meeting of the congregation shall be held on a Sunday during the month of February on a date determined by the congregation council. Second, Aria. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you very much for being here. Meeting is adjourned.
Can I pray again?
yes.
May I pray again?
Pray us out.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the exchange today. Certainly points out the challenges of this time. Yeah, it's a challenging time to figure out how we're going to be church as we move forward and how we do that in a way that's faithful. Yeah, I never thought I'd be standing in a room trying to figure this one. Thanks everybody for your patience. Let's pray. God, we are grateful for your faithfulness, ways in which you come to us by day. Bless us as we leave this gathering now back together. God bless you each one as you go.